In this podcast, the host and Chuck Liddell, a retired professional mixed martial artist, discuss various topics including his career, family, and the world of fighting. The conversation covers a wide range of subjects, from Liddell's experience as a fighter to his thoughts on current events and popular culture. Liddell talks about his career as a professional fighter, mentioning that he started training in karate at the age of 12. He discusses the physical toll that fighting takes on the body, including injuries and the recovery process. Liddell also explains that he misses the process of being a fighter, including the training camp and the camaraderie with his fellow fighters. However, he emphasizes that he does not miss punching people in the face, indicating that he has moved on from that phase of his life. Liddell shares his approach to fighting, stating that he focuses on ending the fight as quickly as possible. He mentions that he remains calm during fights and does not let anger cloud his judgment. He also talks about the importance of not getting emotionally involved in the fight, as it can affect his performance. The conversation shifts to the topic of brain health and the risks associated with professional fighting. Liddell acknowledges the potential dangers of brain injuries and concussions in combat sports. He mentions that fighters are now required to undergo brain training and EEG sessions to monitor and improve their brain health. He also emphasizes the importance of taking breaks between fights to allow the body and brain to recover. The conversation touches on the topic of LGBTQ's inclusion in sports, with Liddell expressing his progressive views on the matter. He mentions that in the world of professional fighting, most people do not care about a fighter's sexual orientation. The podcast delves into Liddell's thoughts on retirement and the possibility of a comeback. Liddell admits that he misses certain aspects of being a fighter, but he emphasizes that the risks associated with returning to the ring, particularly in terms of brain health, outweigh any potential benefits. Liddell shares a personal story about a traumatic experience he had as a teenager when he was beaten up by two guys. He talks about the emotional and physical trauma he experienced as a result of the incident and how it affected him. He also discusses his aversion to bullying and his belief in standing up against bullies. Liddell expresses his political views, stating that he leans more towards conservatism. However, he emphasizes the importance of being open-minded and willing to listen to different perspectives. He discusses the need for respectful dialogue and understanding, even when individuals hold differing opinions. The conversation shifts to the topic of social media, with Liddell sharing his perspective on dealing with criticism and negativity online. He recounts an experience where his son faced bullying on social media, and he advises his son to ignore the negativity and not let it affect him. Liddell emphasizes the importance of not letting others' opinions dictate one's self-worth and the need to maintain a strong sense of self. The hosts and Liddell also discuss the influence of social media on people's beliefs and how it can reinforce biases. They talk about the importance of critically evaluating information and not getting caught up in biased narratives. Liddell shares his experience of fact-checking articles and memes that he receives from friends, highlighting the need to verify information before forming opinions. Liddell discusses the use of statistics in shaping public opinion, highlighting how statistics can be manipulated to support different arguments. He shares examples of how statistics can be used to mislead and distort the truth, particularly in the context of political debates and social issues. The conversation touches on the public's perception of Liddell as a fighter and public figure. Liddell reflects on the way people often approach him, either wanting to fight him or engage in debates. He acknowledges the impact of his public image and the way it influences people's interactions with him. Liddell discusses his experiences as a divorced father with two children. He mentions that he is currently in a relationship with a woman he has known for 15 years, highlighting the comfort and familiarity of their connection. He expresses his views on the traditional path of relationships, stating that he prefers to approach relationships without feeling pressured to follow a predetermined trajectory. Liddell also shares his thoughts on discipline and parenting, reflecting on his own upbringing and the lessons he learned from his grandfather. The conversation delves into the topic of therapy, with Liddell expressing his skepticism about its effectiveness. He recounts his experience with marriage counseling and his reluctance to change his fundamental nature at the age of 48. He emphasizes the importance of staying true to oneself and the limitations of therapy in addressing deep-seated issues. He also shares his perspective on the nature of men and women, highlighting the challenges of navigating relationships and the forces of nature that influence human behavior. Liddell reflects on his experiences in the entertainment industry, including a comedic performance with David Spade and his enjoyment of entertaining audiences. Liddell also shares personal anecdotes, such as his decision to drive a Hummer and his humorous approach to naming his new electric car after a reference from the movie Idiocracy. The conversation then shifts to the topic of drag shows and the involvement of children in political squabbles about sex, gender, and race. Liddell expresses his concern about bringing children into these discussions and shares an anecdote about explaining race to his daughter. He emphasizes the importance of allowing children to be kids and not forcing them to think about adult issues at a young age. The conversation then delves into the investigation of Donald Trump's connections with Russia and the role of the FBI. Liddell admits that he didn't follow the details of the investigation, but emphasizes the importance of finding reliable sources and factual information. The host provides insights into the investigation and the implications of Trump's actions, highlighting the need for integrity and transparency in politics. The discussion then turns to Liddell's background in mixed martial arts and his approach to training. Liddell shares his experience of building his skills in striking, wrestling, and ground fighting, highlighting the advantage of having a diverse skill set in the sport. He also discusses his preference for striking and the satisfaction of punching or kicking in a fight. The host and Liddell also touch on the idea of Liddell playing a gay superhero in a movie. They joke about the possibility of Liddell being the first gay superhero and discuss the potential for him to take on a different role in the entertainment industry. Liddell expresses his willingness to adapt for movie roles and emphasizes the importance of being open to new opportunities.